Good morning to all my dear students. This video is on our literature chapter, that is, the Untrained Mathematician. So let's move forward and understand the chapter. The title of the chapter itself would tell you clearly that it's about a mathematician who had not received any training in maths. Yes, we are going to study about Srinivasa Ramanujan, one of the India's greatest mathematician genius. Srinivasa Ramanujan was born on 22nd December 1887 in Erode in Tamil Nadu. He is recognized as the greatest mathematician of his time, but he had almost no formal training in maths. He was second Indian to be inducted as a Fellow of the Royal Society, which is a fellowship of some of the world's most eminent scientists. He joined the fellowship in 1918 at the age of 31 as one of the youngest fellows in the history of society. He compiled 3,900 results, which were mostly identities and equations, before he lost his life at the age of 32. He is also known as a man who knew the infinity. There is also a museum dedicated to telling Ramanujan's life story located in Chennai, and his birth anniversary, December 22nd, is celebrated as National Mathematical Day every year. Students, let's now understand the story. The story starts where he is a 5-year-old boy. He was not interested to go to school, though his school was located in the front porch of a house in Tamil Nadu. Here, the question arises, why he never wanted to go to school? It's because he didn't want to sit with his arms folded and with a finger on his lips, which means in his school, the students have to listen to the teacher without telling anything. Ramanujan did not like this one-way teaching, so very often he ran home and his parents had to take the help of a police constable. Unfortunately, his parents were unaware that one day this boy Ramanujan would become the mathematical genius. At this age, he loved solving mathematical problems, and he worked on mathematics for hours together while his friends played on the streets of Sarangapani Sannidhi Street in Kumbakonam. Now, let's know about his family. His parents were not well off, they were not financially stable. So, two of his brothers were sent in government college and were staying in the boarding. These two brothers were well aware of the talent of Ramanujan. So, what they used to do? They shared their study materials with him, and Ramanujan solved all mathematical sums. He also asked his brothers to bring more books from college library. Gradually, he was obsessed with maths and lost interest in other subjects. He spoke only about maths. He demonstrated magic squares to his friends. What is this magic square? Magic square is a grid with numbers in each cell whose sum is same vertically, horizontally and diagonally. As time passed, his scholarship was withdrawn. Why so? Because he failed in English, though his command over the language was quite good. How people came to know this, that his English is good? The letters he wrote in English for his friends were found later. Then he moved to his grandmother's house in Madras, which is presently known as Chennai, and took admission in Pachayappa College. Here, in this college, his maths teacher was so impressed or fascinated with Ramanujan's mathematical skills. Why? Because Ramanujan could solve problems skipping most of the steps, yet he would get the correct answer. But again, he failed in many other subjects and failed in FA examination twice in a row, because of which he could not obtain a degree although everyone acknowledged his genius. And without holding a degree, it was difficult for him to get a job at the age of 20. But his notebooks were filled with theorems and formulas. His friends arranged some benefactors for him to support him financially. In 1911, his first paper was published in the Journal of the Indian Mathematical Society, where he never provided the proof of the theorems because he thought that there is no need for doing so. Later, one of his friends forced him to apply for a job in Madras port. There he joined as a clerk. S. Narayanan Iyer, the manager of the Madras port, was a member of the Mathematical Society. He advised Ramanujan not to merge the many steps, as this practice is not easy for others to understand. Then Ramanujan wrote a letter to G. H. Hardy, a mathematician at Cambridge. We will read the letter now. It was written on 16th January 1913 from Madras. Dear Sir, I beg to introduce myself to you as a clerk in the accounts department of the Port Trust Office at Madras, on a salary of only £20 per annum. I am now about 23 years of age. I have had no university education, but I have undergone the ordinary school course. After leaving school, I have been employing the spare time at my disposal to work at mathematics. I have not trodden through the conventional regular course, which is followed in a university course, but I am striking out a new path for myself. I have made a special investigation of divergent series in general, and the results I get are termed by the local mathematicians as startling. I will request you to go through the enclosed papers. Being poor, if you are convinced that there is anything of value, I would like to have my theorems published. I have not given the actual investigations nor expressions that I get, but I have indicated the lines on which I proceed. Being inexperienced, I would very highly value any advice you give me, requesting to be excused for the trouble I give you. I remain, dear sir, yours truly, S. Ramanujan. This letter had 9 pages of theorems enclosed with it, and they were written very neatly so that it could be read easily. When Godfrey Harold Hardy received this unusual letter, Hardy had a casual look at the pages because, as a prominent mathematician, it was not a rare thing for Hardy to receive letters, and thought Ramanujan was another crank or unusual person. He went on his way, but something about the formulas interested him. He consulted his theorems with his fellow mathematician, John Edinson Littlewood. They both read the pages very carefully and at the end realized that they were looking at the work of a brilliant mind. Ramanujan's theorems created a buzz among the mathematicians, and they were excited. Only one question remained: who was this mystery man? Then Hardy wrote back to Ramanujan. Let's now read his words. Hardy wrote from Trinity College, Cambridge on 8th February 1913. Dear Sir, I was exceedingly interested by your letter and the theorems. You will, however, understand that before I can judge properly of the value of what you have done, it is essential that I should see proofs of some of your assertions. I need not say that if what you say about your lack of training is to be taken literally, the fact that you should have rediscovered such interesting results is all to your credit. I hope very much that you will send me as quickly as possible a few of your proofs and follow this more at your leisure by a more detailed account of your work on primes and divergent series. It seems to me quite likely that you have done a good deal of work worth publication, and if you can produce satisfactory demonstration, I should be very glad to do what I can to secure it, hoping to hear from you again as soon as possible. I am yours very truly, G.H. Hardy. In the meanwhile, Gilbert Walker, a former lecturer of mathematics at Trinity College, was the head of the Indian Meteorological Institute in Shimla. He was passing through Madras on 25th February when Sir Francis Spring, the chief engineer and chairman of the Madras port, insisted him or compelled him to take at Ramanujan's notebooks. On the following day, Walker wrote to Madras University that Ramanujan must be supported as a research student. All the more, Hardy's interest convinced everyone about Ramanujan's extraordinary merit. Again, Ramanujan wrote to Hardy in gratitude. Let's now read what he wrote. Dear Sir, I am very much gratified on perusing your letter of 8 February 1913. I have found a friend in you who views my labors sympathetically. What I want at this stage is for eminent professors like you to recognize that there is some worth in me, which encourages me now to proceed onward. For my results are verified to be true, even though I may take my stand upon slender basis. Any sympathetic letter from you will be helpful to me here to get a scholarship either from the university or government. You may judge me hard, but I am silent on the methods of proof. You will not be able to follow my methods of proof if I indicate the lines on which I proceed in a single letter. I do not mean that the method should be buried with me. With kind regards, yours very truly, S. Ramanujan. Students, what do you understand about the attitude after seeing Ramanujan's and Hardy's letters? You must have understood now that Ramanujan held Hardy in very high respect and valued his opinion. In his letter, Ramanujan is very polite and respectful to Hardy, even though initially Hardy was suspicious of Ramanujan's work, but later he was very impressed by Ramanujan. He writes so in his letter and requests Ramanujan to submit proofs of his mathematical statements. In his letter, Hardy is polite, firm, and respectful. In April 1914, Hardy arranged Ramanujan to join Cambridge. Hardy's friend and fellow mathematician Eric Harold Neville accompanied Ramanujan from Madras to England. In the following years, they worked together on many projects and published joint papers. Upon arrival in England, Ramanujan amazed Hardy with his natural ability. He was an untrained mathematician with an extraordinary style nobody had ever seen before and a talent which felt limitless. Here we have a picture of Ramanujan along with Hardy at Trinity College, Cambridge.